a podcast to honor the gods.
This better come with a sacrifice.
Dave X Media.
Except for the hole in the roof, the place was just as I remembered. Statues of terrified people stood frozen in mid-scream. In the snack bar area, the picnic tables had been moved aside. Right between the soda dispenser and pretzel warmer stood a golden throne. Kronos lounged on it, his scythe across his lap. He wore jeans and a t-shirt, and with his brooding expression, he looked almost human, like the younger version of Luke I'd seen in my vision, pleading with Hermes to tell him his fate. Then Luke saw Ethan, and his face contorted into a very inhuman smile. His golden eyes glowed.
Welcome to Of the Oldest Gods, where we discuss Rick Riordan's role as our godly parents.
I'm Raye from Cabin 12.
And I'm Charlie from Cabin 13.
I escaped. I got free from the magical castle, and I'm afraid that Tina's going to find me at some point. But hi everyone, I'm Andrew. I'm here for right now, so let's have some fun.
And he's from Cabin 7.
Yes. That might be more critical to this show than the other show that I'm on. So I forgot to mention that. But yes, that is the case.
There we are.
I love an interventive intro. It's great.
Hi, Andrew.
You escape the castle, but you're still in a war. Like, they're just about to start the war book. We're in the war book.
You know, sometimes the reality of what a better situation looks like is more depressing than, like, what your current situation is. So it is what it is.
Yeah.
I was much happier doing this than you know, reading the book by the mean turf lady. But, you know, like I said, it's I got out. I escaped, so I'm here.
You got out. You escaped.
The grass is always more blood-soaked on the other side.
Yeah, exactly. Oddly more blood-soaked, too.
It's fine. Don't worry about it.
And, hey, there might be bacon in our future, so, like...
But it's bacon with wings.
Flying bacon that can fly its way to you. I think that's the perfect way to die in your 40s from cholesterol.
Do you think those wings, like if you fried them up like a chicken wing, I bet they'd be delicious, like incredible.
Exactly.
There is no way the bacon wing is bad tasting. That just...
Yeah.
If that's
Amazing.
the case, then that's adequate proof that there is no God, because there's no organization or meaning to the universe if the bacon wing tastes bad fried.
There's many gods. There's in
Right.
fact so many gods. One of them must have blessed this bacon.
All right. Well, speaking of which, this chapter is called Pigs Fly.
Yeah.
How do we feel about this chapter title, Raye? Because I'm upset.
Given the amount of shit that happens in this chapter, it's the best we could have done. It's perfect. No notes.
Are you sure?
Pigs Fly.
Are you sure?
Okay. One accuracy note, there is one pig. So
True.
There
Pig
is
flies.
one pig.
They could have tried to include a little bit of everything, but you would have ended up with like that Fallout Boy syndrome where the title is like half a paragraph and has punctuation.
Oh my god, that'd be great though.
I wouldn't be mad. This is the opposite of that.
It's like blah 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 blah. This happened by Fall Out Boy. The chapter.
Featuring
Right.
Haley Williams of Paramore.
Here's what happened. Talia tells Percy that even if Luke is a sad boy, that doesn't mean he's not a bitch. Percy dreams about Tyson and the other Cyclopes going to battle in the name of peanut butter. Very important.
Yes.
Then we see Ethan going to talk to Lou Kronos about Percy's special spot. Luckily, Ethan does not remember where that is. Next, we have a flashback dream about May Castellan trying to become the Oracle, and she got wicked cursed instead, which everyone was upset about. But we have no time to relax after we wake up. We have to go stop a monster army in Central Park with Annabeth because she does not know how to chill, even though she's been stabbed. The Titan Hyperion joins the battle, but luckily Percy unlocks some of his Stormbringer powers just in time, and then Grover and the gang turn him into a tree. Percy then goes 1v1 against a giant flying pig. Then he realizes that's not going to work, and he gets an assist from Blackjack and some statues. Packed chapter.
And then the chapter just ends.
Basically, we're gonna go fight some more after that. We're in this shit now, bro.
I think that all flowed perfectly well and makes complete sense. So I don't know what y'all are hinting at here. It definitely, there were words and they were in a select order, and I read them by having someone read them to me. So
how do you enjoy that audiobook? How's that?
I unironically love the shit out of it. It's like, it reminds me of like 90s cartoons where it's
You're
like
the
not
first person
great.
to ever say that on this podcast.
Well, I think in my previous episode I said that I didn't like it, but I've come fully around. I don't know what it is, but like it might just be my overall lowered expectations in life in general. But something about it was actually because what I did is I actually listened to like the whole book up to this point, right? So like I wanted to make sure in case there was anything, like, you know, I did my duty. So I was listening to the whole thing, and at first I was like, shit, I remember I didn't really like it, but this time I don't know what it was, but it is incredibly decent.
The thing about the audiobook is that he's taking a lot of wide swings, and if it doesn't work for you, it's not gonna work. But like, if you can get into it, like, I could see that. Like, I'm in the weird portion where I'm like, I don't hate what he's trying to do, but like, the vibe is so different from when I read it myself that I don't like listening to it very much.
Yeah, I will say that is the one thing, is it definitely, like I said, it's almost like cartoonish, right? Like it doesn't sound, I'm not worried about the protagonists when I'm listening to it be read by that voice and in that style. But I think the positive thing about like the big random swings that they take is like, it's enough that every time that your brain starts to wander a little bit, they'll do something kind of silly or weird or like off, and like, wait a minute, what? It like drags you back to it, and you're like, hold the fuck, what the hell? You know. So from that point of view, I think it really it helped out tremendously with getting through it. But yeah, like I said, it wasn't as bad as it was last time. He's doing better.
Good for him.
You know, he's done a few books at this point, you know?
Right. Becoming more comfortable, getting a little looser in the booth. I can hear it.
There we go.
You want to take us away, Charlie?
Are we ready for this? Are we
better be.
ready? All right. Well, in case you missed it, we're gonna talk about the Titan himself, Hyperion, first. We technically already met him in another chapter, didn't we? Like a while ago, but we didn't hear what his name was. Now we know who he is. Hyperion. His name means a few things. Let's see. He who goes before, he that walks on high, the god above. There's a lot of stuff here. I think he just has a really big ego. I think that's what his name means.
Well, he's also the Eastern guy, right? So that means
I think that's a Rick invention.
Oh, really? Fascinating.
Like the whole
I love that, Rick.
The fact that each of the Titans like has their own like corner of the earth, I think that was like a Rick thing, because some of them just didn't have enough stuff going on. This guy, his thing is being the god of like light or whatever, I guess, maybe. Unclear.
And a sun guy.
He's a sun guy. It says along with his son Helios, personification of the sun. He's the sun. But also his son is the sun.
I love those little like throwaway titles that they sound really fancy and deep, but when you think about them, they're just not. Like he who came before or whatever it was. That just means he was there first. Like that's just someone being in line. That's the most like it's like the most boomer title ever. Like I who was here before. Yeah, dude, that's how chronological time works. Like
he goes to every YouTube video and comments first.
Yeah, that's Hyperion, and its name is spelled like HYP and then like a 3 like
Hyperion.
Yeah.
Good.
He's got one of those broccoli haircuts. Oh god. Hyperion's just the worst.
Oh my goodness. And like all the Titans, he's a son of Uranus and Gaia, and his consort is called Thea. I can't remember who she is, but she's also
She's Thea.
like, I guess, a god of like shining stuff, maybe? Sight. That's cool.
The god of turtle wax. Truly a unique and interesting god.
Just the goddess of sight, which makes sense based on like Helios and all of that. He's the god of like the sun. He sees all and all of that shit that happens later. I just think Thea's funny because her name just kind of means god. Your name means god. Cool. Good to know. Yeah, so Hyperion and Thea have Helios and Selene, the sun and the moon, and then also Eos, the dawn, perfect.
I think people just like making sun and moon people, and then we have too many.
Yeah, there's just a lot of sun and moon, just all of them in this one fucking family.
Well, and like all the Greek myths, kind of came from different places at different times too, which is why it's so great, because you can tell that they met other people and were like, and of course, you have the sun and the moon named such and such. And they're like, actually, the sun and the moon are named this. And then the third guy's like, oh, well, really? If you want to go back to the original. 15 suns, 42 moons.
Oh my goodness. It's so many. He's also one of the guys who's imprisoned, I think.
Happens to the best of us.
I know, I want to say some of them don't actually say that they are, like, imprisoned in Tartarus or what have you. But, like, it's fun. I'm looking for what's happening here. He's just the sun guy. And there's just a lot of stuff about Helios here. It's like, okay, we get that he was your favorite child. We get it. Just because he's the one who took over the sun for you. I understand. Hyperion and Helios basically mean the same thing. They're sun. They're both sun. Cool.
Is Helios the one who asked as his one like non-ungrantable request to Apollo to drive the chariot?
No, that was like oh my god, I went over.
You know what I'm talking about, though, right?
Yeah, no, that was a mortal son, or demigod son of Helios.
Okay.
That asked him.
Oh, that asked Helios. Gotcha. Yeah. Okay.
Sometimes it's Apollo, sometimes it's Helios. It really depends.
It's uncomfortable either way, so let's not go there. But
yeah, riding the sun. That's your dad. Your dad is the sun.
Yeah, that's your grandpa.
Yeah, there's really not a whole lot to say about some of the Titans, because they're just like they did this thing and then they fought in the Titan War and then they lost.
Don't worry about it, it's fine.
This
is the deep lore. Like
you get the impression these are the members of the family that like fucked up so bad, right? And I mean it is like what it is. They're the family members that fucked up so bad that when you talk about them, the mood like gets noticeably worse at Thanksgiving. Like, well, I remember Uncle Jake from my childhood. Whatever happened? Like here, like forks drop, and your dad just turns and he's like, "We're not going to bring Uncle Jake back in this house." And you're like, "Oh, Jesus, okay. Sorry to ruin Thanksgiving. Probably should have been given a warning about that one."
Well, we can move on to the other thing, the flying pig. Trying to find a page for this was fun because I'm like, one, I have to spell it. I mean, that's like most of it. And then also there's like two different pigs from mythology that I guess get kind of confused because they're both sows. And then the word before that describes where they're from starts with C. We have the Clazomenian sow, which is, I believe, the one from the chapter. And then there's the Chromionian sow.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, the first thing that shows up when I Google that is the Percy Jackson wiki, so that's not the most ideal.
Yeah, but then Theoi comes up like a couple pages later. So I trust Theoi that it is a real thing and Rick didn't make it up.
Literally, it just terrorized towns. That's all that we get.
Literally, that's all it says is it terrorized the Greek town of Clazomenai in Asia Minor. So
it had one job.
Cool.
It did it very well.
That is what Theoi.com says. there are no parents stated, but possibly this whoever made this page is like, maybe it was Chrysaor, who I believe I mentioned I've mentioned a few times, is that's Pegasus's twin brother. Who is just like a dude, or possibly a flying pig. There are two possible options for what this person looks like, and it's either just a dude or a flying pig.
Fascinating.
Charlie, I need to thank you. Before now, I never knew that my life goal was to possibly be construed as being a flying pig hundreds of years after my death, but surely that's a goal worth anyone's time. And
I know, right?
Now it is mine.
Yeah, I mean, it's a guy with a golden sword or a flying pig. It's either you with a sword or you're a flying pig. Which do you want to be? I don't know.
I want to be that flying pig.
Yeah. So maybe these are related. Maybe they're not. We have like one thing about this sow, and that's it. It's on like there's one image. It's a flying pig. Thank you and good night. Yeah, I have nothing to say about this because no one fought it. Like, everybody was right. Nobody fought it. The other one that it might be confused with, Theseus killed, but that's not. There are in fact two different pigs.
I love that it was important enough that it got named, but like not important enough for anything else. Like anything to have a story. Else. Yeah.
It's like, why did we bother here?
I almost gotta wonder
why did you use it? Why?
Because he knew that people would look it up and have this conundrum.
Anyway, if when you were reading the chapter, did you also envision the pig from Spy Kids 2? Because that's what I picture every time. God, now I feel like I fucked up. Now I was just, my mind went to like World of Warcraft boar, but with cartoonishly small wings. So like tiny little like flappy wings on just like a nearly 8-bit boar. I don't know why. That's just what that was my truth. That was what my heart spoke. Back when I played Wizard 101, you could have like a pet that was like a tiny little flying pig that would just like walk with you everywhere you went.
Cute.
Maybe give you spell things or whatever.
Fantastic.
But no, I envision, I want to say they call it the spork in the Spy Kids movie. So that's what's happening in this chapter.
In your brain.
They call it the spork. All right, Percy Jackson, my friends, let us talk about what's happening here.
Yeah, basically we start out with Talia and Percy having a little debrief about their meeting last chapter.
Yeah. Percy's like, wow, I mean, Luke, I guess I feel bad for him. And Thalia's like, dude, he's like basically a Nazi. Don't feel bad for him.
Yeah, literally.
Like he was my friend, but like now he's evil. Don't feel bad for him.
He made his fucking choices.
My guy, yeah, that film that you watched was made by Goering. So let's go ahead and watch a film made by literally anyone else, and I bet you'll see a different side of this series of events. Maybe.
Let's also not forget that Luke was like a child, like a small child, like a 12, when he had this like yelling match with his dad. So...
actually, I remember every time that I yelled at my dad when I was 12, and I think this is now a very accurate interpretation and true to the story.
Yeah, I mean,
okay, but you didn't leave and become a fascist, so... as part of your teenage rebellion.
Everyone has a fascist phase, okay? No, they don't.
They really don't.
They really don't. There are some of us who can just respect human life from like day one. That's it. Oh,
yeah.
God.
But yeah, so I mean Percy is just like, but Hermes knew that May was seeing Luke's future all along, so like as we find out more things later, there's more going on there. But it's like
it's interesting to me.
Stop it from happening.
Yeah, and then Talia kind of shoots back like, you didn't see that clearly. I was there, and his dad does love him. It's just like a complicated situation, which I think is a really interesting take from her. But
it's like the lines from like a movie where they're talking about the single dad that's got to go out and work, and the kids are like, but dad doesn't love me. And then they're like, kid, let me show you what your dad's really about. And you hear like the dun 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 type music playing in the background. It was like that moment, right? Where it's just like, but let me show you the other side.
Thalia's always had, like, some issues with Zeus, but she's also, like, certain that Hermes did love Luke.
Right. Thalia is accepting the status quo here. She says that, like, yeah, things were tough for Luke. Things are tough for all of us. Like, that's just the way the world works. Being a demigod fucking sucks. Get over it.
That's why she became a hunter of Artemis, to kind of get away from it. I mean, like, also being a hunter of Artemis was her being like, Luke, like, my best friend became a fascist. I'm just gonna go be upset in the corner here and, like...
Yeah, I don't want any part of that.
just get away from all of this shit. I need to leave. Take care of myself. Being a hunter is her thaerapi.
Mm-hmm. We also talk a little bit about Annabeth and how, like, she obviously hasn't given up on Luke, and, you know, Thalia thinks that that's an issue. And she doesn't want Percy to do that same thing.
I get it. She was, in fact, like, literally everything Thalia says is, like, she was a small child. Mm-hmm. Luke was her hero. Mm-hmm. Like, we literally saw how they even met. Like, he gave her a knife and was like, you know, we can fight things together. It'll be okay. And
he gave her a knife and was like, this is a good backstory. You should really use this in the future.
Yeah. It's like, here, 7-year-old, use a knife. I trust you.
I think you could use a weapon with low damage, which means you'll just have to repeatedly attack with it over and over. Anyways, small child, take it and go. Have a fun time.
It's only 1d4 of damage. It's fine.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but, like... She just saw him in a different light, and then it just never went away, and then the weird Krish thing happened as she got older. So there's just a lot of complicated things happening there.
Yeah, don't worry about that.
Don't worry about it. Honestly, I would be fine if it was just Annabeth.
I know.
I'd be fine with that.
Kids are allowed to have crushes on whoever they want. Anyway, adults have to be normal. Moving on. Percy gives Thalia the jar with... He says he's allergic to Pithos.
Aren't you?
Probably. I mean, it doesn't sound like a good thing in English. Pithos.
I mean, he's also just like, wow, like, ADHD kids just cannot deal with this whole, like, should I open it? Should I not open it? Should I press the button? You know, it's just right there. It's big. It's red. Like...
And then my uncle gave me the greatest gift of all, temptation. Like, really?
Does he need more temptations? No, he does not. So he wants it away.
Well, and he even acknowledges, like, it's almost like a sneaky way to be like, hey, I'm going to give you this, and it's your way of signaling that you surrender. Mm-hmm. But remember, I also know that you're just going to want to open the fucking jar at some point so I'm going to, like, Monopoly rules you into surrendering and be like, you opened the jar.
You did it.
You did it!
Come on!
So he removes the source of temptation away from himself and locks it in a vault, which seems like a very good idea to me.
Good. Well planned out.
Mm-hmm. You know what? He's a smart one.
Snaps for that.
This is how you manage your ADHD. You remove things that you don't want from your, like, line of sight.
Exactly. And then out of sight, out of mind. Mm-hmm. And then when you need to remember to put away your laundry, you put that right in front of you as you're trying to get out the door in the morning.
Well, and also, I do love the little symbolism here, too, because he literally has to lock away any hope that they have, right? Mm-hmm. Like, that's what he's doing going into this battle that everyone around him is just convinced that they're going to lose. Is he has to literally lock away the hope. I thought that was actually pretty clever.
But he's also saying, no, I don't want to look at the hope anymore. Right. I don't want to look at it. I can't look at the hope. Don't give me the hope.
We're going to keep this hope. We're not going to think about it because it's too hard.
But Thalia's like, you need to go sleep. Like, please go sleep. And he's like, oh, not dreams. And we're also just like, no, not dreams.
Well, and like, life tip here, if anyone ever tells you like, hey, you should really go and get some sleep, they're right. They're just right. Like that is always 100% of the time, they're right. Now, they might not realize that you're in a situation where you can't do it yet, but by God, if someone tells you that, it means that they've looked at you. They can visually tell, yes, this person needs sleep. And then my friends, they said, it's kind of rude to tell someone that they need sleep, but I think that it's important enough in this scenario to still mention it.
Yeah. So what does Percy dream about? He dreams about Tyson and the other Cyclopes. Cyclopes.
You also tripped over that word. There we go.
I can't.
It's actually French. It's pronounced cyclope.
Oh.
This Greek word is actually French.
The Cyclopses.
That just sounds like a bad 80s TV show. The Cyclopses.
So Tyson and his brethren are like having lunch, a lot of peanut butter.
Specifically Skippy peanut butter, which
yes.
I mean,
you get paid, Rick?
I don't know if y'all have sampled the boutique of peanut butter offerings recently, but Skippy is an incredibly sugary peanut butter.
It is.
Like, even amongst American peanut butters, that is like noticeably sugar. So to get like crunchy Skippy peanut butter, that is a solid choice. You know what? And I give them credit for that.
Back when I used to have PB&J every day for lunch, that is what I had. It was Skippy peanut butter. But otherwise, unless it's in PB&J, I don't like it. Like, that is the only time I will have peanut butter.
It is a sweet, like, food. Yeah, we aren't allowed to buy it anymore because one of my roommates doesn't like super sweet peanut butters. We have to buy, like, the natural honey-flavored stuff.
I, on the other hand, am not allowed to buy it because I'll eat a jar in 36 hours with a spoon.
Understandable.
So, what's it like to add an extra 2,000 calories every other day from peanut butter alone? It's sad. It's sad. That's the answer. Yeah. So I just don't buy it anymore. It's a once in a while treat for me to get a jar of peanut butter and then absolutely demolish it.
It's fine. It's fine. I've also recently had problems with peanut butter. As you know, I teach small children. We are in a allergy room.
Oh dear.
And a few parents the past couple weeks have been bringing in the peanut butter. Or like, but also some have brought in like stuff that I believe is like, what is it? We have one who brought in sun butter, one who brought in wow butter or something. I don't know. I can't tell the difference between these things. So me and my co-teacher got so fucking pissed. So fucking pissed. Sent everybody a note home. Like, make sure you do not bring peanut butter. One of our kids will go into shock. Please.
Yeah. Unless you want to pay for a small child's funeral, please do not bring your child with any form of nut butter. You're making me write an email with the term nut butter in it. For the love of God, don't bring nut butter, or else I'll send you another email just titled nut butter. You know this is going to your work email. Do you want them seeing you getting emails that says children's nut butter? No, you don't. Listen to me, parents, and heed my threat, for it is very real. I don't get in trouble for it, so ha, 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 ha.
To say now I have a recording of that, and
I stand by my children's nut butter joke. As it's the most awkward phrase that I've said in a long time. Yeah. You bet your ass it is. Let's move on.
Oh my God, Andrew.
All right, the Cyclopes are fucking dying.
It's fine. They have their peanut butter, and you know what? Tyson is he got like an inspiration point from this guy dying in front of him. Grabbed his club and said, peanut butter. He said peanut butter, I think. Maybe it was for Poseidon, maybe it was peanut butter.
I like
can't
the
tell.
optimism for Poseidon,
Mm-hmm.
but it was definitely for peanut butter.
Yeah, exactly.
But you know what?
because it's
Speak
Tyson.
your truth. Like, I think that might have been more inspiring to those other Cyclope than
Yeah.
calling out their dad who won't let them fight. Like, now they're getting to fight, so now we thank the peanut butter. I get it.
Exactly. Thank the peanut butter. Cool. Tyson's getting to fight. Remember when we were sad because Poseidon was like, "No, Tyson, you're my small son. Don't fight."
I mean, he is.
Tyson, I secretly love you like way more than everyone else, buddy. Way more.
Almost as much as I love Percy.
Yeah.
But like not as much.
Poseidon never claimed he doesn't have favorite children.
No, he literally claimed in the last book, "Percy, you are my favorite child."
yeah, it's right there.
Let it be known to all, especially the others.
Tyson was in the next room. He has super hearing. He could hear Poseidon say it. I will never let that die.
I will say
Worst
Tyson's
dad.
voice is one of like the big choices that this narrator made.
Mm-hmm.
And
That's
like,
what I heard.
if you look, it's going to sound weird, but just hold with me. If you kind of look with an innocent, like, lack of critical thought towards the voice, right? Like a youthful lack of any sort of critical analysis.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very cute and endearing voice for Tyson. Just don't think about what it implies ethically, or like more demands instead of implies. Like loudly shouts in some cases. In this case, loudly shouts. But it just it was, I don't know. It's like it's hard to explain, right? Like I enjoyed it, but not in a way where I like felt bad about enjoying it, because it wasn't like making fun. You know, I don't know. I'm just gonna stop before my grave is even deeper.
The thing is that the narrator does imply with that voice that like Tyson has a mental disability, but the thing also is that Rick is also kind of implying that, and like not in a derogatory way necessarily.
Exactly.
So like it almost works, but it kind of feels bad, and you're like,
that's
I
the
don't know
problem.
about that.
It's like uncanny valley close, right? Like they landed really close to where I think it wouldn't even be a thing, but it just wasn't quite there.
Yeah.
I don't even know if Rick is even necessarily intending that, because like Tyson's technically a baby.
Yeah.
Right?
That's true also.
Like
Yeah.
he's like he's coded as that, but also he's like a baby giant monster.
And I mean, honestly, the way that he talks is baby-esque, you know?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I could, that actually makes it feel a lot more comfortable, in my opinion, like thinking about that. Because I honestly hadn't thought about that. There is a line at the end where they say, of this chapter, where they say something about him being a baby, but I hadn't thought about that. So I guess it's really not as bad as I was thinking. I'm just a terrible person now. I'm going to go bang my head in the closet for a second. Be right back.
There is like also, since he was introduced in Sea of Monsters, he was introduced as like almost like a neurodivergent, infantilized coded like person.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's one of them things.
It's complicated. There's no way to get around it. It's just a complicated what is happening here.
There's also something to be said for sometimes complicated is good, right? Like complicated can be thought-provoking. Complicated can be the thing that drives you to examine your own positions more. So maybe it's not really a bad thing as much as it is just a very strong decision that was handled with the best of intentions but can still hit the wrong way.
Right, because I think that Rick very clearly does care a lot about like neurodivergent representation. That's the whole purpose of the book in the first place. So
absolutely,
the thing is that I think that he is trying to be representative with Tyson as a character, but also he uses Tyson as a character for comedy, and that can come off as very uncomfortable given that people with mental disabilities are frequently used as like comedic relief characters in like a way that is definitely derogatory. And I feel like Rick walks that line in a way that does not necessarily always work out. Like this is a big moment for Tyson where he is joining a war effort, and it's also a moment that's used for comedy because his mouth is full of peanut butter. Which I was almost iffy about when I was reading the chapter. So, like, I was thinking this conversation wasn't going to be relevant, but it kind of is, actually.
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, like you said, there's nothing inherently wrong with making something complicated and with making something nuanced. And I don't know, I think you can always make the argument like, well, couldn't you have just gone for a different joke? And while I think that is a very applicable thing to say sometimes, I don't know, like it does seem right to maybe go for that joke and hoping that you can create someone to realize like that you can make fun of a situation without making fun of an individual who's in the situation. You know, you can draw comedy as long as you're not mocking the person or their disability, then you can take situations like that everyone has and acknowledge that people with disabilities would have those, you know, same situations. I don't know.
Peanut butter is a very common comfort food for a lot of people who are neurodivergent. Like, it's not like we're not speaking to some kind of truth here. But also, I worry that Rick, I know that he has the best of intentions, but I worry that sometimes he does not think through all the implications.
Right.
But, you know, obviously he's gotten better throughout the years. And also, we love Tyson, so...
Yeah, Tyson is probably one of my top favorite characters from the entire like series. It's just such
cool.
Yeah.
He's just a sweetheart and a himbo.
All right.
He's my dude.
The one page about Tyson moving on.
Literally, like not even a full page. All right, let's talk about the backstabber, Ethan.
Ethan Nakamura.
Yeah. Hey, guess what? We're back at Auntie M's.
Yeah.
It's like we brought back the Minotaur, we bring back Auntie M's. We're going like full circle here with some things, bringing back stuff from the first book.
Very fun set piece.
Yeah, and I really enjoyed the setups of like remembering the past victories, right? Because this literally is Percy working his way up to like, I mean, absurdly powerful enemies, right? It's like the moment when like the best analogy I can draw is when Goku's about to fight Frieza and like he thinks back to all the fights that he's had up to that point. And it's like you started off like a small, like planetary level powered individual and now you're, you know, universal level. And it's that same thing. It's like they like track his growth of enemy power level as the chapter went on.
You know, in book 1, facing off against a god, Ares, is like the climax of that entire fucking book. In this book, midway through, Percy is going toe-to-toe with a Titan just as like part of his daily business.
Yeah, very casual.
And then he goes to do something else.
Yeah,
like
that's not even the most important thing that happens. There's a fucking pig who is more of an issue than this Titan.
Like, he's doing a lot today. Just a lot of things.
It's a big day for Percy Jackson.
It is.
Percy Jackson's Big Day. That's the title. That's the title that we missed out on.
Yeah, Uncle Ferdinand is still here. He's lost an arm. So
Poor
sad.
Uncle Ferdinand.
I mean, that's his corpse.
Yeah. Normally when somebody gets turned to stone in like a fantasy thing, you're like, oh, they'll probably be fine. Not in this though.
Nope.
I was gonna say, not when Medusa is concerned.
Yeah,
usually not. They're just dead, I guess. This is where the entire army is, I guess. Or at least most of it. Ethan, has to go talk to the boss, the big boss, because he doesn't want to talk to Prometheus. He's like, nope, gotta talk to Nakamura, specifically.
Well, because he's got a specific thing to ask Ethan about his backstabbing proclivities.
Yeah, Kronos still just, like, looks superhuman, like Luke. Gross.
Chilling. He is lounging with his scythe across his lap in jeans and a t-shirt.
Yeah, one of the things that I had completely forgotten before, you know, rereading this book is how, like, in a way, unimpressive Kronos is as a villain. Like, too much humanity, right? Too much like humanness in like, what am I doing? Well, of course, like, you know, you would think they'd be like planning with my war council or something. It's like, no, I'm just kind of chilling, you know, getting ready, waiting until this next final battle happens. God, just boring, you know. It's like the only thing I got to do, but I got to do it when I got to do it. You know, it's very not like what you're used to in fantasy, you know?
Kronos is too busy having mental slap fights with some guy in his early 20s.
Yes. Yes.
I was just gonna say, my brain is just like, wow, he's seriously just like lounging, but instead of like a woman across his lap, it's like the scythe.
Yeah.
Like
That's his cat that he's petting evilly.
there are three things if you are evil you can have across your lap: a weapon, a cat, or a woman. Those are the options.
Hot girls.
Or
Listen.
a female cat transformer that turns into a gun.
All right, this is some Soul Eater shit right here. I'm glad we all understood this reference. All right, so Ethan is like, you sure you don't want to talk to Prometheus? No, I want to talk to you. But he's sure that Percy's not gonna surrender.
Yeah, he asks one question about this entire war council meeting, and it's, what'd you think? And he's like, I don't think that's gonna work out. And then we move on.
Like I said, he's not invested in the war council. This is why things aren't going to work out perfectly for him. Like you gotta go. Actually, now that I say that, I haven't read the full end of the book yet, so I'm hoping. I don't know. So I think it's a good guess, though. I think it's a good guess that, you know, it's not going to fully work out for him. But
it'd be really funny if the world just ends at the end of this
right?
It does. And then all the rest of the series are like actually an alternate universe,
like post-apocalyptic.
You know what? It's just like it's just like Ragnarok from Norse mythology. Like the world actually just starts anew again. Didn't you know?
It's more efficient that way.
It really is.
You know, I do think that Kronos was more intimidating in earlier books, and that was because he always seemed to be steps ahead of us. Now he just seems arrogant.
Yeah.
Like, especially given
body.
Yeah.
He's getting some of the Luke-isms.
Luke is not very impressive. Just sitting there.
He's
that's
just
some
some
20-something guy. Yeah.
He's a frat boy. You've given
boy.
this like, yeah, literally. You've given this like ethereal, like scary being the body of a fuck boy.
Yeah. So now it just seems like a special-eyed fuckboy. Like, I am the ultimate bad guy. Also, I have shiny eyes. Like,
he doesn't even bother to turn to Percy and be like, haha, I can see you spying on me in your dreams, like he has before.
He always does that.
Yeah.
But not now.
He's just like, oh, here's our plans. I guess it's fine if Percy Jackson knows those.
Everyone, it's at the top of the hour. Let's once again recite our plans to each other. All the way through, everyone. All the way through. No skipping plot points, okay?
You know, maybe it's because, like, he's so limited, quote unquote, is what he always says. Like, I'm limited in this form. I can't do so much. Bro, you just, like, froze a giant right behind you.
Only for a little bit, though.
For a little bit, until he gets his little, oh, I got a headache. No, it's nothing. Literally, don't mention it to anyone or I'll murder you. I'm fine. Oh, yeah. But we talk about the stabbing. It's like, okay, but why were you aiming for that spot? What happened? Why did you hit somebody else? Why did she jump in the way? Was that his spot? Ethan's like, I wasn't aiming anywhere. I don't know what's going on.
He like mimes stabbing, like, where did I try to stab him? Like, there's also a part where Kronos, like, mimics what Annabeth is thinking, and I'm just imagining him doing, like, a funny girly voice, like, oh dear, I forgot my friend is invulnerable and took a knife for him. Oops!
Yeah.
Like...
The whole section read, and this was the ultimate point of like the voice acting being kind of weird and really taking a weird take. Cause like he just turns into like pissed off teenager, right? Like he sounds like the bitchy, overly jealous like boyfriend.
Luke is
like
so frat boy in the audiobook.
why did you like go with? Why'd you try and? Why would she do that? Why would that? Doesn't seem like a normal thing to do. Just saying, bro. Like I think there's something more there. Okay, and like that's not cool because we like promised each other that we wouldn't do that, and that's a breaking of a promise.
God, that's so funny.
See, now I'm just thinking about the actor from the show and how, like, his voice and that cadence doesn't sound totally different.
No! Don't say this to me about show, Luke.
Listen, he kind of sounds like a bro. Does he not?
He sounds like the big brother I would want.
I mean, yes, he sounds like the big brother, but he also has like a bit of a bro cadence. Don't worry, Percy. Don't worry, bro.
Percy, when I think about the universe, if it has everything will be right in the end. If everything's not right, it's not the end. Like the character that just says like the back of Live, Laugh, Love posters as lines everywhere. That would be great. Oh God.
But also, does Kronos, shouldn't Kronos be having the Kronos voice, not the Luke voice anyway?
You would think.
They've said that before, though, that he, like, sounds like Luke, I think.
But no mortal vocal cords could ever express the true form of voice. He would just, like, go to do it in the true God voice and just spit up a bunch of blood and be like, oh, shit, no.
Well,
that didn't work.
It happens in this chapter where it's like his voice switches from Kronos' voice to Luke's voice. So I'm just like, okay, but that's the nails on a chalkboard voice that he should be having the entire time right now.
No, he just chilling, man. He just
Instead
chilling. He doesn't need to do
voice.
that.
I'm just very confused. Okay?
I'm a changed God. I sent an entire party to offer peace. Okay? I'm a changed God, a more relaxed God. I'm only going to execute my complete revenge on everyone after saying they can, give up on their own.
Maybe Kronos just is a frat boy.
The peace council was actually to ask Percy to join his frat.
Yeah, maybe Kronos is just a frat boy, and that's where Zeus gets it from.
God.
Ooh, okay. I like this. I can roll with this.
I mean, and they're just legacies, like,
right.
You know?
They're the shitty legacies who get in, even though they're like really fucking like not cool, right?
Exactly. Yeah, man. All right. Well, we don't talk about this. We don't talk about Bruno. Didn't happen. He's fine. He's fine, my dudes. But let's talk
Luke
about
is
this,
not fighting him inside his brain. That's not happening.
The snake lady. I feel like the last time Andrew was on, there was also a snake lady.
That's just that was my doing. Don't overthink it.
I think this is just a running gag with you. Her name is Cess. Queen Cess. Yes.
We all like everyone's brain went there, right? Like it's not.
You gotta have lots of S's in there because she's a snake. Yeah, they have a surprise for Percy. Yay! There's a surprise. It's a pig. Can't wait for it.
It's fine. Okay.
And last part of the dream.
Really quick, y'all know that like the origin of the term "a white elephant gift," right?
I think I've heard it. I don't remember.
So, like, a white elephant gift is like a really like it's a gift that's also a huge obligation, right? Because like you gotta. It's something like you've got to take care of. Like if you give someone like a horse, right? In the modern day, it's so expensive to take care of a horse. It's technically a very expensive gift, but it's also this huge obligation. Well, back in like ancient India, the emperor, if he really disliked one of his court nobles, instead of like imprisoning him, his response would be to give him a white elephant, because these are like very sacred elephants that if you mistreat or, fuck up the least bit in taking care of it, straight, like Fred Armisen level, like straight to jail, like immediately to jail. And so the gift is more of a threat than like an actual like gift.
That makes so much sense for white people gatherings at Christmas. The gift is an obligation, and like if you don't return a gift of equal value,
of proper equal value,
you will go straight to jail.
Straight to jail. Believe it or not, jail.
Well, here we go. We're in the 90s, guys.
Hell yeah.
It's the 90s. Baby.
Woo!
Remember when Rick Riordan is like, my books aren't set in any year whatsoever. Bro, Percy was born in 1993. Fuck off.
It's official. Percy, or as I called him, Young Buck. I'm older than Percy. I don't like this.
How? Okay, wait. When was Luke born? Wait, shit. Because maybe it wasn't the 90s. Maybe it can't be the 90s. Fuck. Okay.
How much older is Luke?
Luke is like 7 years older than Percy. So that means like 86.
Yeah.
Huh.
This should be the 80s.
Maybe Percy just doesn't know what the 80s look like.
It's a 90s kid imagining the 80s. That would actually, well, I don't know. I saw enough TV references in the early 90s to know what the 80s looked like.
I feel like that makes sense for Percy, honestly, though, to like not understand what the different decades look like.
Maybe Percy doesn't know what a baby looks like, and Luke is actually like 3, at least.
You know, maybe that's right. I don't know. Maybe it's the late 80s. Who knows? The demigods were fashion forward. So Hermes is here, May Castellan is here, she's got a baby, and Chiron is here. So Chiron knew all of this.
Mm-hmm.
How do we feel about that?
Is this the point where it makes the reference to like Chiron, like, lets everyone remember this guy trained Hercules, right? So like, you're talking about a being who has seen the rise and fall of hundreds, maybe even thousands of different heroes. Like, my God, you realize just how small of an insignificant piece you are in the grand scheme of things.
Apparently Chiron's hair is darker, meaning that he has visibly aged in like 15 years, which seems very strange.
He just stopped using hair dye, that's all.
Luke came to camp and he gave Chiron gray hair.
It's like those pictures of Obama, like when he first became president versus when he left office, and how he went from like a full original color hair to like straight up white, like salt and pepper by the end of it.
That poor man.
This cohort of demigods aged that man like 3 centuries.
Like this specific group of demigods made him age. Yeah, well, May wants to become the new Oracle because the old one's been dead for like 20, maybe longer years. She's been dead a while. She's real dead.
I don't like this. I don't like this one bit because like Chiron seems to be like just stepping back, like, oh no, stop, don't do that, no.
He's just like, I forbid people from trying for so many years. Go ahead, I guess.
Yeah, he's like saying it and then like under his breath being like, you won't, like, you definitely shouldn't do that. You won't. Bet you won't. Why, no human who has given birth has ever tried to do that. You could be the first. Like, it's just like, it's weird.
Yeah. I also still think it's funny, based on like the ancient Greek definition for like virgin. Raye, we're gonna get into that again.
Oh boy,
remember what it means?
A young woman. Someone who. Tell me.
Someone who hasn't made their own
either
first...
unmarried or inexperienced.
Oh.
It is generally a woman who has not had a child yet, right? Or
I believe so, but also like I don't know. I feel like the unmarried thing was also kind of very important to like being a virgin back then. Too.
And she's not married, so like maybe it's fine. Maybe it's fine.
The Greeks were a fairly sex-positive people, so they're looking at it and they're like, oh yeah, they were married but didn't have sex. Like,
yeah,
they know what's going on. It's not like pulling one over on like, the ancient Catholic Church. Like,
Oh, yeah. But May's just like, I was given sight for a reason. I have to do this. It's my destiny. And Hermes is like, maybe don't. Maybe
Yeah.
Not even maybe. He's like, or not. Not would be an option, and that's the one you should take, is not.
I don't want you to. It's dangerous. We can't fuck anymore. Like,
Yeah.
what are the benefits?
like he's like, we can't fuck anymore. We can't.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to do that.
Honey, I just need you to think, is there any scenario where we could fuck right now, but we couldn't fuck after you go in that house? That is okay. Is there anything that could happen that could take that status away from you that you can think of that would be a positive thing? Like, oh, we can't fuck anymore because, I got a giant raise in the universe and now I'm super powerful. No, doesn't make sense, does it?
And she's just like, you're gonna move on anyway. Like, you have tons of kids.
She ain't wrong.
She's like, you're a fuckboy, okay? Like, I have to get over you sometime. Like, good on you, May Castellan. You actually, understand how gods work, and you're not gonna be stuck on this man, even though she kind of is.
I mean, good on you, except you have a kid to take care of.
Yeah.
And, you clearly know this isn't going to work out. Like,
she seemed quite confident that it was going to work out. She was very excited about this whole thing.
Yeah, I know you can see things, May, but could you see yourself become the Oracle? Did you see that happen? Huh?
Yeah. I'm going to need specificity. And when the big god of this very thing is like, hey, in my godly opinion, let me tell you, stop.
Bad.
Yeah. Maybe consult Apollo,
Yeah,
the god.
This is like your deal shit.
Just a little bit.
Or maybe it's like a blind date. Like Apollo can't actually know her before
yeah.
you go to become the official Oracle.
Yeah, I don't know.
So Percy is experiencing dramatic irony. Just like in a horror movie when you're like, don't go in there.
Seriously.
But what if I go in this door? God damn it.
That's horrible. And he can't do anything about it. He just has to watch.
Yeah, it has the line where it's like, and he wanted to cry out, but he knew it would do no good. It's like, well, that's heavy-handed. Okay.
Yeah. Well, she's like, I'll be right back. Gives Hermes the baby. The baby squirms and then green light, screams, no! There you go. She's been cursed.
There are a lot of bad things happening to women in this book.
Just a lot.
I'm just going to go ahead and say it. I know there's, not many sports fans necessarily that might be listening, but any one of them that is, what just happened, which is Hermes is that guy that has a TV that gets a slightly quicker stream of the event and is able to text everyone oh no, and everyone's like, oh well fuck, they haven't even gone for the play yet on my end. Fuck you, dude. You always know that you're ahead a few seconds, and he's just sitting there, he's like, no. It's like, well, you ruined the ending. I knew this was going to go bad, but wow, rude. You should wait to react with all of us.
That's what kept happening when we were doing our watch-alongs for the show.
One of us was slightly ahead of the other, and it's because somebody liked to skip the recap.
I did it literally one time. Leave me alone. Okay, Percy wakes up.
Percy is woken up, and it's because Annabeth just also doesn't believe in her own safety, just like May Castellan. Rest. Please rest. You're not moving your arm. You're still pale. You have not been fixed up. I get it's a war, but you'd be better fighter if you healed.
Yeah.
Maybe, and didn't die.
Crazy idea here. Get healthy. Whoa. Anyone else feel it when I said it? I felt it. I felt it in the air.
Yeah. Get healthy.
Get healthy.
Do it. I'll wait.
Minutes at this point. We really should have been doing this earlier, but still, as of now, the only time better than today was yesterday. So go ahead and start now. Start your rest, and we're going to get you a tight 7.5 minutes.
Oh my goodness. Well, he fills in Annabeth about like a bunch of the stuff that happened, but like not all of it. Like merely almost none of it. Did he even tell her about Tyson? I don't know.
I don't know.
It's not mentioned. Tyson is no longer mentioned. But we talk about Ethan. Does he know about the weak spot? Unclear. We don't know what's happening. So they go out. Thalia's here. We love spending so much time with Thalia. Like, ain't she great?
It's been a while. I've missed her.
Yeah. Well, the army is coming. Are we ready?
No.
Are we? Are you ready?
I don't think anyone would ever be fully prepared for this, but
Yeah.
I'm there.
I'm glad you are. Are you a satyr dressed in wood bark armor?
Clearly. Obviously. Come on.
Because Lee
Charlie,
is here.
if we could quit joking around here, that would just be great, okay? Like
Yeah. You ain't wrong. Yeah, I did not expect to see this guy.
Yeah, he's here. I forgot that he was here. Why are you here, dude?
He's trying.
He's not gonna let a mere outcast lead the satyrs.
Yeah.
Without him.
You gotta love, like, showing up and immediately being like, well, I'm here because of shitty prejudices, but I'm going to lead everything because I'm entitled to that. Oh my god, he's a boomer.
That makes sense. Yeah, no, I agree.
The Council Leader Karen is going to show up and do their thing.
Everybody gets their assignments, and then we go into the battle. And hey, look, it's the golden guy. Here. There's battle things happening. Thalia does her Daughter of Zeus thing. There's Greek fire. There's grappling hooks, apparently.
Yeah, that staple of warfare.
Grappling hooks, my favorite
I
weapon.
don't go into hand-to-hand combat without at least 2 or 3 grappling hooks on me at all time. It's a standing policy.
If you know there are giants there, might as well.
I mean, do you just like use your grappling hook, climb all the way up to their face, and then stab them in the eye? No, this is to quote the Avengers. You remember that really old movie, Star Wars? Oh my god! I was just like, what are you doing with the grappling hook, actually?
No, it's like in what's that fucking Gulliver's Travels where the magicians take him down. It's like that.
I'd like to imagine a hero that like misunderstands the meaning of grappling hook and thinks that it's just something that you hold while grappling. So like they tackle the person and they start fighting, but they hold the hook in one hand like, this is not a benefit at all.
Firmly grasp it!
Firmly grasp your grappling hook while pursuing a grapple with the enemy. I feel like I'm limiting my offensive capabilities by at least a quarter, maybe even a half.
Yeah, there's fighty things happening. And then Percy has to go fight the Lord of Light, the Titan of the East, Hyperion.
Rick's thing makes sense to have the sun guy be the east guy. Yeah. And and he precedes other stuff. Yeah, it works. I like it.
He makes our buddy Bob, the Titan, the Lord of the West, I want to say. Which makes sense because he's supposed to be like the next Hades.
Yeah.
And Hades is in the West. So.
Just like the Egyptian like sun underworld thing.
Yeah. The sun connects to me. That's in the West. It's
that's
all
where the sun goes when it's done. Is the underworld.
Yeah, exactly.
And every day we pray so that it'll come back out.
Yeah,
and not get eaten by a snake.
Basically,
yes.
Exactly.
All
this is basic science, people.
All right. What is happening here? So
a lot of shit.
Science is happening.
They're both running over water. I'm sorry. Is Percy and Hyperion playing Jesus right now? I'm
no,
confused.
They're actually doing cosplays of that lizard that can run very quickly on the surface tension of the water.
Yeah.
It's a very symbolic cosplay, but if you get it, you get it.
I just think it's funny that Percy is like literally becoming Jesus, running over the top of the water.
I know this is stupid, but I can't help but think like, what is the actual power there? Is he just like increasing density of the water below him, making it More watery water.
Percy has powers over surface tension.
Yes, that's what it is. They call me snowshoes in the lab.
It's like that one girl in H2O that they brought in like season 3. She turned the water into like gelatin jelly or whatever, and then she could like walk across it and not get wet. That happened in an episode.
Like a non-Newtonian fluid. Like
yeah. It was weird. She could turn things into jelly and then also turn things into crystal. And it's like, why did we replace the ice girl with this?
About. Yeah, okay.
You know, the notoriously wet subject or notoriously wet object crystal. Like
wild. Yeah, so he's fucking bright. He's got bright eyes. You can't look at him.
Yeah, he's blinding Percy, even though he's invulnerable. His little eyes are still vulnerable. Which, wait, that's an oxymoron.
Yeah, so what is this? This becomes a fire versus water fight. Who will win? I wonder
Steam.
who. You're right. You should say it. Okay, what does this mean? Our swords met again and the air charged with ozone. What does that mean?
Charged with ozone means that it like feels like there's about to be a lightning strike. Like, do you know that like specific like electric smell?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm assuming that that's the Percy's storm powers beginning.
My brain is just like the ozone layer. Like what is that? What's
O3.
happening? Okay. I'm so confused by some of the language that Rick uses, and I don't think small children will understand.
No, that's a normal turn of phrase. I think that's fine.
If you say so.
Hey, it's the type of thing that hopefully will inspire a Google, and a child will learn something that day, right? Like...
I never did.
Do you guys ever have that experience where like you read a lot as a child and there are certain words that you only read in books and then you use them later and you're like, wait, do I actually know what that means? I think that was grammatically correct, but I don't think I've ever heard the definition of that word.
Or if you say it confidently and then someone's like, do you mean, and then says like the actual pronunciation, and you've got to sit there and be like, well, I'm French, you see. And
I've only read the word, I don't know how to say it.
There was a word from, oh shit, what was it? There was a word in World of Warcraft that I read wrong literally for like 15 years. And then I said it to my friend one time and he was like, the fuck did you say? He's like, that's not a thing. And I was like, man, this has been in the game for like 15 years. Oh shit. What was it? Oh, this is going to drive me nuts. Let's keep going. Cause like, I'm not going to remember it, but if I randomly shout a word, that's what I'm not like having a stroke. I know what I'm doing.
All right.
Okay, my favorite line from Percy here is when Hyperion says, we fight on land, and Percy says, I was about to make some clever comment, like, no.
I remembered it. It's reagent. I read it as like regents my entire life.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
But no, reagents are what you need when you're using a recipe.
I mean, regent is also a word, so how can they even blame you? Like
Exactly. Thank you.
I'm glad we cleared that up.
Meanwhile, Percy has like sailed off in the distance and like should have broken every bone in his body. But he's okay.
Continues to happen to him. This invulnerability is really paying dividends.
You know, I'm just going to say it. Just because you're invulnerable doesn't mean you're not going to wake up the next day and be like, fuck. Like, go to like reach to get out of bed and just like, where you like can't even yell. You just like get hit by such a wave of muscular pain that you just like, and like start making that type of noise as you try and adjust. That's gonna be your world, my dude.
Yeah, I feel like Percy does keep like kind of overexerting himself with all of these powers that he's doing. It's like, this is why Thalia told you, go sleep.
Yeah.
You need rest too. Like, just because you're invulnerable doesn't mean you can't like, overwork your body.
Big difference between Kronos and Percy. Kronos acknowledges, this body is weak. I need, like, sleep and junk.
It's gross, but you need it. But actually, I love sleep, so,
Oh, the best.
And then, Percy, made his own personal hurricane.
He is really stealing Thalia's thunder here, as in literally.
I was gonna say,
like,
is
literally
rocking him like a hurricane. I mean, it's just like,
Damn.
I will give him this. Percy is delivering, right? Percy promised a lot before he went out for this fight. But, like, he's holding his own. He's absolutely delivering on every single one of his promises so far. I mean, again, a little easier to do that when you are literally invulnerable, except for one teeny tiny little place. But
he's doing pretty good. And then he has to bring him over to Grover, and then Grover and his guys work their magic and make him
They play a
tree?
beautiful song that's actually haunting and scary.
Don't worry about it. It's great.
Have y'all ever seen the Don Cheadle Captain Planet sketch?
No.
Mm-mm.
It's the most, oh my god, I don't even want to ruin it. It's the most amazing thing in the world. Just like after we're done here, go to YouTube and do Don Cheadle Captain Planet, and I promise you will laugh your ass off. It's fantastic. It's so fucking fantastic.
All right, will do. This is fun. Does Hyperion become a dryad now, or like is a new dryad being born from?
Nah, we could
basements?
imagine this as magical, like that tree is him now. We could also imagine that he's just in there screaming for eternity.
That's my interpretation, is like the tree grew over him. He is.
That's how they describe it.
And then I want to know, is Thalia traumatized by this?
I did not even think about that. Oh my god!
Guys, she's like right over there, like a few feet away.
Yeah, seems insensitive.
Just sitting there muttering under her breath, yeah, this is the best course of outcome. This is exactly what I wanted. So glad I fought for this.
She's just like, not again. It's happening to someone else. It's a bad guy. It's okay. Don't worry about it.
There's no Fourth Amendment. There's no Fourth Amendment.
Well.
Pig time.
Pig time. The fact that Percy mentions the gift from Pan that was also a pig.
That they also had to fight.
They fought it so they could ride it, and then it left them alone.
Okay. Rick, I have a complaint, and that's that you're weird about this being a sow. Why is it gotta have pink wings and a girlish squeal? What are you talking about, Rick? It's a pig. Anyways, complaint over.
Yeah. She also had, like, winged eyeliner. Didn't you notice?
Of course.
Because she's got wings.
Beautiful eyelashes. Yeah. That's how you tell people that something's a girl, obviously.
Well, of course, in the most feminine of ways, it has eyelashes, like all sows. You know how when you look at a pig and you think, my oh my, those are feminine eyelashes on that pig's face.
You know,
that's what they do in the Barbie movies, is they give all the animals like beautiful,
really
beautiful eyelashes. I hate them so fucking much.
You know what? Some men have some very beautiful eyelashes, okay? Some
It's
very
true.
beautiful, thick eyelashes. Leave them alone. Like...
So Rick picked this pig because it doesn't have very much information about it, because there's no stories about it, which means that no one's ever beaten it, which means that Percy gets to be the first.
Woo-hoo!
There are many things in Greek mythology we can say that about.
He was just like, you know what? Pigs flying? That's like a joke from popular culture. I'm gonna use that. Here's the one or so maybe the second pig in mythology that has wings. And then nobody fought it. Cool. Percy will be the first to defeat it. That's it. Percy's so fucking cool. Hercules didn't even beat it.
Hercules is just sitting off the side like, I never tried.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I knew that it was terrorizing towns and stuff. I didn't give a shit.
I was dealing on a much higher level. That was just a pig. I had to deal with Nemirian lions and things like that.
Well, the thing is, he fought the boyfriend of this pig, right?
True.
Yeah, basically.
The boar that we met previously.
That does appear to be the implication.
Yeah.
So Percy's like, I'll take the pig, you guys do everything else. And they're like, what if we can't? And he's like, retreat if you gots to. I'm busy.
Hey Percy, I know on the head that might seem like a fair trade, but you are talking about an entire rest of an army. It's not like a few guys. It's like you're taking the most powerful monster, but then, oh, look, there's number 2 through, I don't know, 600 following behind it. I'm just saying, overall, I don't think this is a fair deal.
Yeah, it's fine. Don't worry about it. Percy's got this.
Please don't think about it.
Percy swings a grappling hook and then tries to climb it like it's the high school rope or whatever in gym class. And then Blackshick's like, "Are you okay? You want to ride instead?" Like,
wow, that looks like really labor intensive.
Easier ways to fly, my dude. Yeah. And then he sees there's a statue. Hey, look, remember all the statues that we were activating? Could that be relevant here? Maybe.
Surely not, but maybe.
But it's a Hermes statue. Is this symbolic?
No.
Or is it just another statue that exists in New York?
That was my assumption, but also it could be. I don't know.
I really
So Percy has
know.
great air control. And he manages to get the rope to swing around the statue and then let go.
Shouldn't Zeus be striking him down right about now? Because he's flying like a lot right now.
Yeah, don't worry about it. It's fine. Zeus is fucking busy, okay?
I was gonna say, yeah, it's probably that.
Yeah, that's like a cop worrying about a speeding ticket when they're on their way to like a guy murdering people. Like,
yeah.
Priorities, you know?
Yeah, that's fair.
Swinging, that's a misdemeanor at most.
All right, so he's like flying on Blackjack.
Well, he lands on Blackjack from the air, and the implication is very clearly that like he squishes his whole business.
I'm sorry, the fact that it's like, wait, I thought nothing hurt you right now. You're invulnerable, except
for getting kicked in the nuts.
We literally asked this question last chapter, didn't we?
I swear we did. I don't know. We were talking about like Superman invulnerability, like.
I'm just like, what happens when you get kicked in the nuts? Apparently, still hurts. His voice was an octave higher than usual, apparently. And then he activates the Hermes statue that is like dangling from the pig at this point.
Yeah.
There is such a stupid joke to be made about saying it's pronounced Hermes. It's a high fashion brand
done that before,
for all you high fashion fans out there.
I've never seen this brand before, but this is not the first time this has come up.
Do you think Hermes wears Hermes scarf?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
He's like, this is in my honor.
He's like, you named it after me, I'm gonna fucking wear it.
Exactly. Like, the gods would do that. Absolutely.
You kind of named it. You, like, really made a good effort of naming it after me.
I would love it if this statue spoke and was just inexplicably French.
Did you not know, Percy Jackson? It is I, Hermes, from France.
Because we need another character with a bad French accent. Did you forget Dr. Thorne? Did you forget this man?
Percy, I am here to help you.
So Percy has luckily remembered the command sequence to activate the statues, and he gives them the command, kill flying pigs, which...
What happens when they're done with that?
I guess.
What happens?
Here's the real question. Would any of us remember that fucking code?
Not me. No fucking way.
I would be like reaching into my pocket like, hold on! I wrote it down here somewhere.
I have to look up my phone number every time somebody asks me for it. Like, I theoretically know it.
That. Right, like I know it, but like, do I know it that well?
I feel like it's not a long number, and he's heard Annabeth say it enough times. Maybe
I would say 32 accidentally. Like,
no, that one is right? Fair.
It's 23.
Oh, see, I'm fucked.
Yeah.
Because I would think 23 and me. Okay, so I got this.
Oh, there you go. You need a mnemonic.
You gotta come up with one of those things, yeah.
There we go. Don't worry, guys. Universe is gonna be saved now. Andrew can remember the number.
And now Percy's like, can stone statues also be automatons? I don't know, but let's see if those lions
It's Greek
will
magic,
work.
it's fine. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Daedalus just like didn't stop making automatons. Apparently,
This man
That's
love
all he
automaton.
like his entire life, he made automatons and into statues, and that's it.
Daedalus
Nothing
was the original Hamilton. He just can't stop, won't stop.
Making automatons like he's running out of time.
Out of time? Exactly. There you go.
Percy killed the pig. It's dead now.
Well, the lions killed the pig. I don't know if you get to take credit. I mean, you do, because a lot of heroes take credit for, like, their clever little shits, but the lions did it, is all I'm saying.
It's because Percy activated them.
Yes. Like, he gets credit, but all I'm saying.
He should be more accurate and specific and give credit to the lions whom he used to kill the flying pig.
And then he's like, okay, defend Manhattan. And now
And they're like,
Maybe.
got any more flying pigs?
Yeah, this is just like where the chapter ends. Like, Percy hears explosions, and then we go?
Yeah, it's a weird ending spot. It was a weird chapter. A lot of shit happened. I guess Rick didn't want to have another chapter that was just dreams. He could have cut it off at the Titan fight and had the pig come later. But, like, you know, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it could have been like, and then I heard the surprise. Reet.
Yeah, that seems like what he would normally do. I feel like that's more of a cliffhanger than this one. But, because we don't really have a good setup for next chapter other than that we're still fighting.
Yeah, it kind of feels like he unintentionally turned two boss fights into like no boss fights, because like both of the boss fights that should have been these like, you know, like chapter long things turned into like, actually, you know, Percy's just so badass he kind of like did this and it worked really well. And then like the next one's like, actually Percy's like really clever and so he did this thing and it worked. And it's like, okay, so neither of those were actually that demanding. I guess we are getting time for a nap now, is that? Maybe that's what it'll be. Is Percy's like, and now I will gallantly nap for 9 minutes before going after Kronos.
Maybe the purpose is to make things feel especially chaotic, because you're right that these are both like normally a single chapter boss fight. Yeah. Maybe it's to make the reader feel like this war is overwhelming.
Well, and there's a principle that you run into in shows like Dragon Ball Z and stuff where, like, you know, you have this constant problem of how do you scale and escalate the correct way, right? Because you've got to establish that these villains are worth fearing the fight with, but at the same time, you keep raising Percy's level, which you have to get up to Kronos' level, but it creates these weird scenarios where it's like, oh wow, I'm actually like way more, you know, I've got way more of a power level than I thought I had. Woohoo! Because the scaling just doesn't quite work out.
The power creep is, after going in the river, like, Percy's power creep has been a little off.
Power soar instead of a power creep, if we're being honest. Like, power blast off. You
know what I think happened in this chapter? I think that Rick really wanted to name the chapter Pigs Fly.
I really think you're right. And it's one of those characters that he had found like 2 books ago, but was just like, no, wait, you're going to find the right place.
We're going to save that.
We're going to save that pig, that damn pig. And now he's like, oh, I'm going to use the fucking pig. But it's like only a few chapters left. And he's like, well, shit. All right, we're going to put the pig in along with like the biggest, baddest, scariest Titan that's ever lived. And the pig's going to be worse. Like, woohoo! Whee!
Makes the most sense ever. Well done, Rick. This was a choice.
I enjoyed reading this chapter, though. Given all of our like complaints about pacing and like weirdness, it's fine.
Like I said, overall, it's still very much a romp. Right? Like at the end of the day, because it doesn't feel like very life and death. And so you can have a much more like, woohoo, la, like, let's do this thing type deal. So I don't know. While it does lack a little bit, I guess, of the like tension that you might have at this point, well, instead it does a great job of being like, yeah, It's like a sugar rush. It's like a sugar rush of a chapter.
All right. I think this is going on long enough.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I tend to do that to people.
No, we
It's
do that
alright.
too.
Yeah, it was a long chapter.
It
for,
was,
like,
it was.
For what happened in it. You know, we went on a full ride. Andrew, if you would like to be found on the internet, can you be found?
No.
Where? No?
Nope.
None? Exactly. I thought so.
I challenge you to try to find Andrew.
Once every 3 to 4 months, I might make a single comment in the Discord.
and
That's it.
Yeah, he's on that podcast that's it's ending in
It's ending, and that's a good thing. That's a good thing. But man, yeah, it's
one more book.
Yeah,
one more. That's it.
Then it's done, and that'll be normal feeling, I guess.
Can't wait.
Woohoo! But yeah, no, please don't look for me on the internet. There's nothing worth finding, I promise.
Okay, do you have a media plug for our lovely listeners?
What have you been consuming lately that you think people would like?
I am very I've gotten back into a K-drama kick.
Of course.
So yeah, surprise surprise. I just finished one called Hospital Playlist that is it was very good, but it's like a medical drama, and I don't know if y'all have watched like medical stuff recently, but like the special effects are a little too good because
yeah
they're like doing surgery and shit, and there's like footage of actual surgeries up on the wall, and I'm like, I realize now that doctor was never like, no one was asking me to be a doctor, but I definitely couldn't have been one even if they were, because I was just watching them like do the opening incision, and I was like, oh no, that's not for me. So that was it was intense. And then like it's a pretty intense drama too. I will warn you, like one of the doctors works in the pediatric cardiac unit. So like be warned. But if you're up for it, I can recommend that. It was a very very satisfying show.
Yeah, I can't do medical shows for the same reasons, so like I understand that.
Yeah, like I'm glad I watched it, but like it's probably I'm probably not going to ever watch it again. Not because it was bad, but because like that's just I've had enough. I've had enough HD footage of operating rooms. So
yeah, it's very rare that I watch a medical drama. So
all right, I have something for you. I'm still on my Batman bullshit, and
of course you are. I'm so glad.
I started listening to Batman: The Audio Adventures, the podcast on. It's by Max, I guess.
Of course it is.
It's very, very charming. It's set up in mostly small segments, kind of like interrupted by a narrator being like, life and death in Gotham City. It's very cute. And I'm very much enjoying like the actual narrative, but even more than that, what I find most charming about this show is these small segments that are things that actually show up on the radio in Gotham. Like there will be like a public service announcement about how kids need to say no to scarecrow gas and not get it like off the street. Or like like the very first segment is just some news guy on the street like asking people what they think about Batman working with the police now, and like, you know, some guy's like, Batman pulled me out of my car, and he's like, what? Oh my gosh. And he's like, yeah, I was stealing that car. He talks to some little kid, and the kid's like, I think Batman's gonna turn the city around, and he's like, wow, that's the real spirit of Gotham. And then the kid starts mugging him. It's very like tongue-in-cheek and charming, and I've been enjoying it a lot.
That's adorable. I can't remember. Has Robert told you about their Bat and Superman fanfic that they were trying to write?
I don't think that's definitely come up, but I don't remember anything about it.
They were trying to write a college AU of Batman and Superman, like they're roommates and they're falling in love. They don't know each other's secret identities,
Of
and
course.
like years later, stuff happens.
I think there's multiple secret identities that they're not aware of with each other. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah. I've only heard like bits and pieces because they were talking about it when they were writing it a while ago, and then I was reminded about it because they mentioned it on the episode of Burn Before Reading that I just had recently that I was on. And I was like, all right. That's a good ship anyway.
There's a lot of content for it if you want to go out there and read fan fiction.
Super bad.
They are fucking nasty style.
Oh, as they would. I mean, listen, you got like your rich goth boyfriend and your like country bumpkin boyfriend. Listen.
And you get to do secret identity shit. It's everything you could want.
That climactic scene where they realize, like, you're not cheating on me, you're just another superhero. Like, oh.
I do like it when that gets played for comedy, like everyone else thinks that they're cheating because they see them with their civilian form and their superhero form.
And there's that other climactic scene where they're both like, your mother's also named Martha?
God damn it. We don't talk about
that. Martha. And 30 minutes later, when they calm down enough to stop saying Martha to each other.
they kiss?
Yeah, they tenderly kiss after screaming their mother's name for a half hour each.
I haven't seen that movie, so that's all I know.
Yeah,
it's hilarious. So I'm gonna plug, hey, the Percy Jackson fandom should already know this artist, but she recently, did some art for the show, or fan art for the show.
Ooh.
So Viria is coming back a little bit. Come back to the fandom, Viria. Yeah,
nice.
She did the redos of the official art. The current official art for Percy Jackson is all done by Viria. The old art, we don't speak of it. There is no old art. We do not.
It's just like there's no older podcast, right? Like there's no previous podcast for Tina. There's no older art. There's no.
Yeah, exactly. What are you talking about? She started podcasting this year with Burn Before Reading.
This year with Burn Before Reading, yes.
Exactly.
It was a bold decision to open an entire media conglomerate with its own Discord server, years before. With no podcast. It was an odd choice, but, it worked. It clearly worked.
It really did.
Good for
Tina.
Tina.
Blazes her own path on that one.
Release us from this mortal coil.
Yes, I will crawl back now to that other show, which we shall not speak of, but
and then you'll I'll say no, and then you're gonna start screaming because I saw what was happening before it happened.
I'm going to go back to being the dog in the meme where the house is on fire, just like this is fine, this is normal, everything's fine.
Exactly. Well, y'all can get out of my fucking cabin because, the pig is flying. It's there. It's right outside.
The bacon is on the move.
Oh, God damn it. I'll leave your cabin when pigs fly.
I've got some really, really bad news.
Thank you to Matt for being our super awesome God Complex Patreon supporter. You can follow this podcast socials at Of the Eldest Gods Pod on Instagram and Tumblr, and at Of the Eldest Gods on Twitter. You can send us an iris message through oftheeldestgodspod@gmail.com. If you'd like to support us financially, join us at patreon.com/oftheeldestgods. By becoming a patron, you can join the Deus Ex Media Discord server, where you'll be able to chat with us and other listeners about episodes and anything Percy Jackson related. Our $5 patron tier also gets you access to Against All Odds, our monthly bonus show. There, we'll talk about a wide variety of topics, which usually have something to do with mythology. No promises. You can check out our merch store on Redbubble to find custom designs made by Charlie, Or if you cannot or do not want to support us financially, we'd really appreciate a rating, a review, or letting your friends and followers know how much you love the podcast. That really helps. You can find me, Raye, at HeyHeyRaye, spelled R-A-Y-E, on Twitter. If you want to hear more from me, check out Barbie Movie Slap, a podcast where my co-host Ted and I discuss Barbie's cinematic universe. That podcast Twitter is at Barbie Slaps.
And you can follow me, Charlie, at GreenPixie12 on most platforms, but on Twitter I'm at GreenPixie123, which I'm totally not salty about. I also have an art Instagram at GreenPixieDraws. I sometimes do the YouTube thing on my channel, Charlie Mac. That's M-A-C-K. Our music was written by Isabel Strauss-Riggs and recorded and edited by Ian M. Riggs. You can find Izzy at Kane_I, that's I as in the body part, on Instagram and Twitter. She also currently makes video essays on the YouTube channel Kane I. Feel free to message her about making music for your project or editing your podcast. Of the Oldest Gods is proud to be a part of Deus Ex Media, which features great podcasts like The Restricted Section, a chapter-by-chapter Harry Potter pod with lots of spoilers all the time.
What's up, potheads? I'm Christina Kahn, host of The Restricted Section, the Harry Potter Slander Harry Potter Book Club podcast. We are a raunchy, rambling, unabashedly pro-trans rights Harry Potter Book Club podcast hosted by a bunch of nihilistic millennials who are desperately clinging to childhood fantasies as a way to escape the monotony of our 9-to-5 work culture and the inevitable extinction of the human race at our own hands. Isn't it wild that this book series was spontaneously created by the gods and has no actual author? Welcome to the show. The Restricted Section releases episodes on Wednesdays. The Restricted Section can be found at Restricted Section Pod or at Restricted Pod across all the socials. And just to make it clear, fuck TERFs.
Of the Eldest Gods is based on the series by Rick Riordan. Right now, we are discussing Percy Jackson and the Olympians. Remember to follow us on your favorite podcatcher and meet us back here every Thursday.
I'm getting up the mythology things. Let's see if I can spell words.
I believe in you. Kind of.
It's literally in the chapter. You would think I could smell it. Spell it. Oh my god.
Is it
It's a very special book if you can smell it. Or you're having a stroke. So, I mean...
Is this the one it meant?
I've had some scratch and sniff books before.
Oh, that is true. But then they take them away from you. And they're like, no, you gotta read the books.
Is this different?
I
from
know
this
I'm
one?
thinking about that. My cousin has a Scooby-Doo scratch and sniff book from childhood that still works.
That's fantastic. I'm sure, sure that in 20 years, we're all going to be going to the doctor and they're going to be like, bad news, scratch and sniff books equal cancer. And we're all going to be like, fuck, of course.
Deus Ex Media.